You are watching UCU Focus TV.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Focus Point. My name is Patience Among and I am your host. This week on Friday, the Guild government will be holding their General Assembly, an open parliamentary sitting where all arms of government are required to attend and account for their time in office and finance. Today with me is Right Honorable Speaker Joseph Michael Tenua, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
MP Female Residence, Honorable Precious Gift Arjuna, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let's dive in and talk about our topic today. Our first question is going to be, is the Guild government willing to account for their time in office and their finance? That is going to go to you.
To me? Oh,
Yes,
thank you
right,
so
Honorable.
much. To our dear viewers, I'm happy to share with you this moment. As I've been introduced, Joseph Michael Tenua is my name, Speaker to the Students' Guild. Going direct to the question, whether the Students' Guild is willing to account the students. Yes, the Guild leadership is willing and ready and more than prepared to account the students. And that's the actual purpose of the General Assembly. We have organized it as a Guild government, and we are calling the students' body and the administration as a Guild government to make sure that we share about the leadership that we've been in for this time. So to answer the question, yes, the government is ready.
Honorable Precious, do you think the Guild government is ready to account for their time in office?
Yes, I really think the government is ready to account for the time we've spent in office, and also for the finances, because a lot has been done that the students might not actually look at, but we are ready to show them that actually we've been working behind the scenes. Even what they've not been seeing, we've been working, and a lot has been achieved so far.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, Honorable Speaker, how important is this assembly to the students?
The Guild Assembly is very important. And why the General Assembly becomes very important is as per Article 20 of the Constitution of the Students' Guild, 2018 as amended. It is the highest governing body. Now, trying to put that into simpler terms is that when we look at the student leadership, there is of course the executive, where we said it's led by the president, but also in charge of government business is the prime minister. The legislature is being led by the speaker, and the judiciary arm is led by the chief justice, deputized by the deputy chief justice. Now, well, as these are looked as arms of the government, not even the president, not even the entire Guild government is actually greater than the General Assembly. And this power is vested onto the General Assembly by Article 20, that this shall be the highest body of the students within the university, because it brings together all students from year one to the last year, from year one to those doing masters and PhD, and irrespective of the programs. That's why it really becomes the highest body of the students. And so it becomes very important, because any matters that are deliberated on actually carry much more weight than any other matter that might have been deliberated on by the Guild government or by any of the arms. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Precious, how important is the Guild Assembly?
I think I really feel like the General Assembly is something that is very important. This is the time when the students have the platform to give out their grievances or to appreciate the work that is being done or to make change where they want to see the change, because this is the time when we get to cry out and say this has to be changed or this has to be worked upon. And obviously, if they are there and they give out the grievances themselves, it is far much better, because maybe me as an MP, I'm not able to give out exactly their grievances very well. Maybe if they're there in person, it is even much better, because they get to speak out their problems and their cries, and things are put into consideration. So yes, it is very important. It is very important.
Okay, thank you so much. This assembly is very important, just like you have stated. But at the same time, this assembly has been put on Friday, 8 a.m. to midday, noon, which is class time for most of the students. So how is a student going to leave class to come and attend the assembly? Like, try to make me understand. Is the student going to miss the lecture, or is the student going to attend the assembly? Why was it placed at that time?
Okay. Of course, as a university, we have really a challenge, especially when it comes to time allocation. But also, as you may all well know, time is a scarce resource. We may never have such a time which is reliable for everyone. And as a university, it will be unrealistic to say that we are suspending lectures to make sure that we have the General Assembly. So many times it's quite difficult, as there are many programs that run at nearly the same intervals. However, is it really realistic that we can put a General Assembly on a Friday? Yes, it's realistic, and why we find it realistic is because we have 1 week to exams. And so by default, most of the lecturers and the tutors have been able to finish up their lecture time, and a number of them are summing up this week. So we are working on the assumption that actually some of the lecturers and some of the tutors have finished the teaching, but also some few may be finishing probably within this week and maybe within next week. But a good portion of the students are actually done with their classes, as we have 1 week to exams. So that makes it convenient for some of the students to join in for the General Assembly. As to why we could not call off the classes, or as to why we could not organize it on a separate day other than a working day, is of course, it being a university activity, it has to be on a working day. But also we could not afford to call off the lectures, as this has a lot of bureaucracy. The only person who has the power to call off lectures is the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics. But if he has to do that, even then, it has an implication, because lecturers probably have planned to come and teach during that time. So it will kind of have a ripple effect. Some lecturers will miss out their lectures, which is quite unfortunate. Even some students, not some, students pay to be taught. They pay to attend classes. So telling them that you're not going to maybe to attend classes, it could be a bit of a disservice on the side of the student, but also it affects the lecturer who has their plan to teach. But that's why we do it during that time, hoping that most of the lecturers who have finished up, then students will be available. Then for the few that are still finishing up, they can negotiate with the lecturer at a class level, and we see how to use that time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Precious, it's the same question, but I'm going to try and change it. The assembly has been held at a critical time, where students have a lot of coursework to finish. Students are going into exam period. Are you sure that majority of the students are going to come for this assembly?
We are hoping that they actually make it, but 25th July was the only favorable time that we had for the General Assembly to take place, because it's almost at the end of the semester, and we assume by Friday, 25th, most of the lecturers have finished their lectures, and most of the courseworks have been done. We are hoping that by then, most of these things are done. Yes, there's a lot of pressure for exams and courseworks and all those things. But it is our prayer that they're able to come. We can't do away with the pressure, but also our needs have to be answered. So for them to be able to enjoy maybe the semesters that are to come, they have to find a way of being available and put out their cries for them to enjoy the next semester, because this semester is coming to an end. But if they have to enjoy the other semesters or anything, or the other years or whatever, they have to attend. It's not a must for them to attend. Those who feel like they are obliged to be there are actually going to come. So yeah, it's our prayer that they actually find it convenient to come and attend the General Assembly. Yes.
Thank you so much. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would love to share this question with you.
Okay.
Is the Guild government open to discussing about accountability? Since the last week on Tuesday, Launchpad had a session of the 176 days, and members of parliament were requested to attend, but only 4 members of parliament attended. In a group of, how many members are in parliament? 70 and plus, but only 4 members attended. Are you sure that the Guild government is willing to discuss accountability?
I submit that the Guild government is willing to discuss accountability and give a report to the students. And maybe drawing back to the last week's instance about the Launchpad Club. The Launchpad is a students' association within the university, an association that many students subscribe to. It's an association that I should say one of the most vibrant, or else the most vibrant. I don't want to overrate it, but I want to say that it may be one of the most vibrant, but it's actually a vibrant students' association because it has organized presidential debates and that. So the Launchpad organized the 100 and something days of the Tsonga government. However, I want to submit that there was a bit of a gap in the communication. As the speaker, I was not duly notified about the Launchpad program. I'm not so certain if by any chance the other arms of government were notified. For example, the executive through the president or the prime minister, and then the judiciary through the tribunal, and then the other part of the electoral commission. I'm not so certain of that, and I've not really gotten any information to that effect. But as far as I heard from the other groups or the other arms of government, they were submitting that they were equally not notified of the Launchpad sitting. And with the government issues or with the leadership things, many times it's really important that actually people are brought to their attention. It's like you are journalists. If, for example, you have to ambush someone and you be like, okay, tell me about this. Sometimes the answer might not be spontaneous. But so there was a bit of a gap in the communication. Now, as to whether each leader is supposed to carry on a personal responsibility, like say I am the speaker, and I am also a member of parliament representing School of Law. Did I have the obligation to appear there and account to the students? Yes, I had the obligation as a leader, because as a leader, of course, I should say as a good leader, where the people you lead are is where you should be. Unfortunately, that day got me when I had some other commitments, because we were in the preparations for the General Assembly, and that actually had scheduled an online conversation with someone about the same. So it became quite difficult for me to make it, having seen the flyer in the group about 2 hours to the Launchpad sitting. So my take is, the government is ready to account, the government is ready to share with the students' body. The issue of last week was just a communication gap. Otherwise, why would we not appear anyway? We are supposed to account. Thank you.
Same question goes to you.
It was quite unfortunate that only 4 people were present. I would like to say that if I had the notification, I would have really attended. I'm not someone that will be at different places at the same time, because I also had an engagement. But one thing I would like to tell you is that if you can look into the 4 people that attended, there is a very big likelihood that they are continuous members, or they attend Launchpad debates like continuously, like every week. So now for someone like me who rarely goes there, and even got a notification that I saw the notification, a message, a flyer saying that they were accounting or asking or diving into what we had done as a government. It was on short notice, like I didn't know, so I couldn't go. I also had other engagements, but also the notification wasn't really directed to us. When you see the flyer, it's as if someone would read the flyer, it's as if they were calling upon the students to come and dig deep into what the government has done, and not calling the government to come and account. You get? So there's a miscommunication or something. If the flyer maybe was more clear that they wanted us to come and account, I'm sure different people were going to go there. But the flyer was talking about a debate of what the government has done. So that means these other people are the students, are the ones coming to dive into what we've done, not us accounting for what we've done. But I am personally sorry that I wasn't able to attend, but yes, that is my submission on that thing.
Okay, thank you so much. There are allegations, right, Honorable Speaker, that the guild budget was
Yes, please.
was published without your signature. And since we're going to have the General Assembly, are you going to account for a budget that didn't have your signature?
Am I going to account for the budget that did not have my signature?
Yes.
I submit that as Parliament, we shall be operating within our mandate as Parliament. There are arms of government that are really concerned with the issues of budgeting and with the issues of administration. For example, when you look at the executive, is concerned with the general administration, running programs, doing this and that. When you look at the judiciary, it's concerned largely with matters of interpretation of the law and that. And with the Parliament as the legislature per se, we are concerned with making of the laws, and then the other one is accountability. And we seek accountability and we hold the other arms accountable. So as Parliament, of course, we remain with the sole mandate of accounting and holding other arms of government accountable. That is something that we have done, and that is something that we shall do. Shall we give feedback to students about accountability? I submit that yes, we shall be able to give to students feedback about what we've found in regards to accountability. Because as Parliament, ours is basically to check the other arms. And when it comes to accountability is as well, because we have the Parliamentary Finance Committee, which is supposed to start diving into actually the expenditure of the government and some of the activities and the programs, and so how much was spent and how it was spent and the result. So as Parliament, we have done that, and we shall do that, and we shall be able to give feedback to the students in relation to that. And I think that's my submission.
Talking about finance,
Yes.
who is the current Minister of Finance? Because the minister that I knew of finance was resigned, I mean.
Yeah.
So who is the current Minister of Finance? Who is going to give us the accountability of the budget?
Is that still to me?
That's still to you.
Who is going to give the accountability of the money as a Minister of Finance? I'll submit this from a kind of, I should say from a double side. As you've submitted, of course, it's no news that the Minister of Finance who was appointed resigned. but also the deputy, should I say for lack of a better word, was dismissed from his duties, or was sacked, or they withdrew the appointment from him. And having done that, there was, of course, someone who was, I should call it a reshuffle. Yes, there was a reshuffle where they got the Minister for ICT and he was put into the position of Minister of Finance. However, of course, questions come up as to whether he qualifies to serve as a Minister of Finance. And these are some of the concerns that Parliament raised. If you have been vetted as a Minister for ICT, do you by default qualify to be a Minister for Finance? These are concerns which, of course, came on the floor of Parliament, that if someone was vetted for this position, does that mean that they can function universally across all the positions? But you realize that these are some of the gaps which have been in the Constitution, and that's why shortly we had actually to push forward for Constitution amendment. Because the Constitution had so many loopholes. The Guild Constitution has so many loopholes. And so there is no express provision stating that when there is a reshuffle, the minister has to go back to Parliament for vetting, because someone is vetted on the basis of their competence and skill. Now, if someone wants to manipulate or make use of a gap within the law, they can actually ride on that. As Parliament, we've tried pushing forward that let this person come back to Parliament for vetting, say that their skill and competence is approved by Parliament, but also that their credibility is not in question. This is something, of course, that was not done. But as you may understand, when Parliament is given a mandate to approve, it is not also an enforcement body. It's not a police that we shall get guns to go and start enforcing. So Parliament will do its part to speak and to guide and to approve. Now, where there is a grave breach, Parliament does not have an enforcement arm that we shall get the one yonder court, the court bailiffs, and you can't start enforcing the decision of Parliament. So that's a really weakness that is just within the law, but also manipulation of the gaps within the law. So as to who qualifies to be a Minister of Finance, I think this is a question that we've always been grappling with, because surely it's not a public secret. Yeah, but the thing is about manipulation of the gaps within the law.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Precious, less time is given to ministers to go into detail about their accountability and dive into the budget so much. And more time, is there no other time that can be given to the guest speaker and another day? And this General Assembly is given to the ministers and the executives to go deep into the budget and their accountability. That's something that you guys always have. Can you address it? Is there no time that they can push the guest speaker another day or another time? But on the day of the General Assembly is when you bring the guest speaker. The ministers also have to account. So,
one thing I would like to let you know is that it's so hard to get those special days to bring the guest speakers or anyone else because of the bureaucracy that is in UCU. As in, to get a day to invite a speaker into UCU is quite tricky. So we use every opportunity we get to learn. The guest speaker that is going to come is going to teach us on something, about something or so. And yet we still have to account and dig deep into the achievements and the failures and everything, as a General Assembly should be. But also we have to get an opportunity to learn from the day itself. So enough time will be accorded to the accountability part, but also the time for learning has to be there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Same question goes to you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay. In relation to the program of the day, I submit that the time will be sufficient, because even the speakers are not like guest speakers coming to give a public lecture. They are not coming to take up an entire day. This is just someone coming by to share a word in about 20 minutes or less. So I think it would be unrealistic to say that the students are meeting and there is no word of wisdom or word of knowledge or word a sharing that comes from someone who is actually somewhat more experienced in a given field. So this is more of an addition. So it's like you have had a meal, but then you just feel like, I think, having ice cream. Some people prefer having ice cream after a meal or having a sweet after a meal. Of course, it doesn't add anything much, but it's just something to, And so in the same spirit, this is more of a glass of wine after a meal, or it's more of a cup of ice cream after a meal. So they are not really speakers coming to take the whole day. The biggest portion of the day will be given to the General Assembly and to the accountability, but just a small portion will be coming from the speaker. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As we conclude, Honorable Precious, what should the students expect in this General Assembly?
One thing that is going to be obvious is the accountability, and we shall also give our ears to the students to listen to what exactly hurts them or what their grievances are. And yes, it is going to be a time where they're going to be given a chance to speak out their hearts. That is one thing that has to be expected from the General Assembly. And obviously, when we get to know all those things from the students themselves, it will give us a chance or a platform to be able to work on the things that we may have missed out on. So yes, it's going to be a time for us to give accountability and for transparency from the students themselves, so that we are able to be at the same stand.
Thank you so much. Right, Honorable Speaker, what should the students expect?
The students of Uganda Christian University should expect a lot from the students' body, because as per Article 22 of the Guild Constitution, there are three main functions of the General Assembly. One of them is that the students will have a chance to hear from the Guild leadership. The second one is that the students will have a chance to hear from the administration. And the third is that the students will be able to share their opinions about the leadership, and so we'll be able to talk about things which affect them in the university setting. And it's just on top of that we've decided to have the students interact and engage about what affects them. It's the reason we've given actually a chance to have a bit of a conversation, a free interaction in form of a debate. And so this debate resonates with the theme of the day. The theme of the day is basically inspiring civic engagement and responsible citizenry. Now, this theme is quite broad. And in this, we are saying, prosperity of any community is based on, is not based on the order of government, but it's based on the responsible citizenry. Now, from this discussion, we can actually get much more. We are saying that if we have responsible citizens who are concerned about their community, irrespective of the order of government, then such a society is going to grow, because by default, anyway, I don't want to preempt the debate, but I mean, this is going to help us get these opinions and concerns of the students. So how much more they should expect is we are going to have an interaction on a very, very interesting topic of debate. At the same time, we shall be moving within the theme of the day. And so we shall have much more, of course, the other few things like refreshments and that notwithstanding. But we have much more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Honorable Precious, one last word for the students.
This is to extend an invitation to every student. This is not something you'd like to miss, because this is the time for your voices to be heard. Yes, we are your representatives in the guild, but we can't put out your cries exactly how you want them to be put out. So it is a time for you to come and join us. The administration, the different people are going to be around for them to listen to your cries exactly how you want them. We are just representatives. We might put out our own grievances and not exactly address your grievances. So please come, join us on 25th, and be in a position of putting out exactly what hurts you deepest, where we can't see exactly. And we shall be ready to work upon any kind of issue you put across. And also, it is going to be a time where you get to see what us as the government, what we've done, and what we've tried to do for you, the students' body. So please come and join us on 25th of July. Yes,
Honorable Right Speaker, one last word to the students' body.
My word to the students' body is that I invite all the students of Uganda Christian University to join in the General Assembly. There is no reason you should distance yourself from governance or from administration. Sometimes you hear some people who feel like they have it all in life, or they are just tired with the politics and leadership and issues of governance, or they feel like they just need their peace, they don't need to know. At the end of the day, the quality of leadership affects you, like it or not. Now, any person, as long as we are into a civil society or a community where there is a leadership affects you personally. The decision is taken by leaders affect you, like it or not. So we cannot keep distancing ourselves from leadership. I don't like politics. I don't like leadership. They are wasting my time. At the end of the day, whether it's good leadership or it's bad leadership, it affects you as an individual. But also, we are talking about civic engagement and responsible citizenry. How then do you claim to be a responsible citizen when you don't get involved? And especially for student leaders. Now, this is not a choice. Student leaders, I want to refer them to Article 21 of the Guild Constitution. It is a duty of every guild leader to attend the General Assembly. Now, this is not about bargaining. It's not about begging. It's a constitutional duty. Now, as to whether you choose to abrogate the constitutional duty, that's entirely upon you. But the Constitution imposes a duty upon you to be present. But also, civility would demand that someone in a leadership capacity actually takes the lead. So with the leaders, we invite you to be the example. And with the general students' body, we are saying that we are inspiring civic engagement and responsible citizenry. And so your presence will speak directly to the theme, because the decisions taken by a good or a bad leadership affect us all as individuals, but also as a community. I appeal to you, come Friday 25th, let's be in Nkoyoyo Hall from 8 a.m. up to noon. All is sorted. The preparations have been in high gear, and expect much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing with us. My name is Patience Among. I am your host. Have a lovely night.
Thank you.
You are watching UCU Focus TV.